Well, folks, the Buccaneers finally have some positive injury news, and it is regarding two of their most important players. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. Now, here is the exact tweet from Adam Schefter. Even though Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin and offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs were both ruled out for Sunday's game against the Jets, both players have a strong chance to make their season debuts next Sunday versus the Eagles. Both Godwin and Wirfs are expected to start practice reps this week with the starters, and if all goes well, no setbacks, they are expected to play next Sunday. Huge news regarding the recoveries and the returns of Godwin and Wirfs. Now, it is interesting to note that both Wirfs and Godwin have been practicing already on a limited basis the past 2 weeks. They are obviously ramping up in terms of their recovery, ramping up in terms of getting back to the football field. And I don't need to tell you guys how absolutely important it is to get these two players back as soon as humanly possible. Godwin for the wide receiver room, Wirfs especially for that offensive line room. In fact, I do just want to kind of remind everybody what the Bucs offensive line looks like right now without Wirfs there. Because remember, not only is Wirfs dealing with an injury, but Luke Gedeke is out for the next 4 games now, and also Cody Mock is out for the entirety of the season. So you are working with an offensive line that's put together with absolute duct tape at this point, with guys playing out of position, guys from the practice squad, just absolutely everywhere, right? Wirfs getting back fixes that O-line tremendously, where guys can finally get back to their original positions and just also increases the overall level of play. Real quick before we dive deeper into it though, I do want to say shout out to Sleeper for being the proud sponsor of this channel. Guys, if you use the code MrBucs, you will get a $100 deposit match up to $100. That is whenever you use the code MrBucs. Guys, download the #1 sports app today and enjoy football the way it was meant to be. That is together. Now, whenever we talk about the offensive line for the Bucs, right now, Graham Barton's at left tackle, Mike Jordan is at left guard, although whenever this video is being uploaded, it's probably going to be Luke Haggard over at left guard because Jordan is dealing with a knee injury of his own. Ben Bredesen is at center, Elijah Klein is at right guard, and Charlie Heck is at right tackle. When Wirfs comes back, you can be looking at an offensive line, at least until Luke Gedeke is back, of Tristan Wirfs at left tackle, Ben Bredesen can slot back over to left guard, Graham Barton can slot back over to center. At right guard, yes, you could have Elijah Klein, but if Mike Jordan is healthy, you can have Mike Jordan over at right guard, and then Charlie Heck at right tackle. Or you can have a scenario where Elijah Klein stays at right guard and maybe you try out Mike Jordan at right tackle if you're not satisfied with what you are getting out of Charlie Heck. It gives you a lot of versatility with your offensive line. And I know Gedeke and Mock are super duper important, but even with Wirfs back and everybody getting back to their original positions and moving Mike Jordan over, that is still a very serviceable offensive line in my opinion. And then when Luke Gedeke gets back, it's even better, right? So that's huge in regards to that. With Chris Godwin coming back, that just helps out the passing game, baby. You're looking at a wide receiver room of Mike Evans at your 1, Chris Godwin at your 2, Emeka Egbuka at your 3. Just stop right there because that trio of rotating is insane until you do get Jalen McMillan back as well. You've still got Sterling Shepard in that mix. Ryan Miller would probably be your 5 at that point, and then either Tez Johnson or Cameron Johnson would be your 6th and a wide receiver, and then whoever would be left over of that duo would be your 7th. So that's just huge for the wide receiver room. We've talked about it so much here on the channel, but what are you going to cover whenever Evans, Godwin, and Egbuka are out there? Because Ibuka's already looked like a very capable wide receiver in his own right as well. So you add those 3 receivers, throw in Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, maybe a little bit sprinkling of Cade Otton, although he hasn't necessarily had the best start to the season so far, and Mayfield at quarterback. It's an embarrassment of riches in terms of skill position players, which is, again, just incredibly helpful. Opens up the playbook more as to what you can do with this offense. Same thing with Wirfs coming back as well. Just 2 of the most important reinforcements that you can get in terms of Wirfs, and Godwin coming back. So huge, man. Huge. Love to hear it. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on Schefter's tweet that they have a strong chance to play in week number 4? Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear it down in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.